Hello, hello. Happy Monday, everyone. Today is Monday, August the 16th, 2021. And I do hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. A lot of things going on in this world, a lot of things happened over the weekend. But today, I want to talk about who do you live for? And what about taking care of self? And I've had this conversation with friends over the years about putting yourself first. Putting yourself first, is it wrong to put yourself before your family, before your friends, before your job? You know, is that wrong? Is it wrong to want to make sure that you're happy before you make sure that other people are happy, including your children? Is that selfish? You know, um, some people may think so, some people may not. Now, um, I have said to people over the years that my family is a part of my life. They're not my life, but they are a part of my life because I still do things outside of my family. I do things that are outside of my friends. I do things that are outside of work that make me happy. Things that I choose to do alone that I don't want my family, doing with me. And there are some things that, my family that they do that they don't want me to be a part of. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Um, but there are some people who are not. There are some people who you know, cling to their family. I guess cling could probably be an incorrect word to use, but I know someone who, every time some friends and I were going to go on a girls' trip, her husband said no. He didn't want her to go. This is something that the two of us can do together, or we can go and we can take the kids and we can do as a family. And I noticed that every time she told us that she was not going to go, um, there was just she had this look like, you know, she wanted to go, but her husband said no. Should he do something like that? I mean, should your husband tell you that you should not be able to hang out, with the girls, and should you tell your husband or your spouse or significant other, whomever, that they can't go hang out with the guys? So again, is it selfish that you want to put yourself first? Is it wrong? Hello, is it Riza Sam? Hello, thank you for joining me. Thank you. So I'm just talking about, what makes, you happy, and who do you live for? So for me, I am a family of three: me, my husband, and my son. My son is 21 years old. And I've never been one to, I've never been one to, say you better stay home with me, or whatever. And my husband's never been one to say you can't do this and you can't do that. He has his friends. I have my friends. My son has his friends, and we have our friends. People that we can, things that we can do together. Okay, so
Okay, so
You want to say something?
Hi, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Very good.
Did you want to say something about the topic that we're talking about today?
Couldn't get the topic exactly. Could you
Who do
say that
you
again?
who do you live for? Who do you live for? And what about taking care of self? Who do you live for?
I live for myself.
Okay, so if you have a family, so do you put yourself first before you put your family first, or your friends first, or your job first?
Yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends of situation.
Okay, so may I ask if uh, if you put yourself first, do other people get upset that you do so?
Maybe it has a long story. Could you ask by details? I mean, what do you mean by put yourself?
Well,
Would,
okay. Well, what I mean is it okay to want to spend some time alone? Is it okay that if you want to go to the park or something? I'm just using this
yeah,
as an
yeah, it's
example.
needed.
You want to
Yeah,
go
I
to the
got it.
park, or you want to
Yeah.
go to a movie. You want to go by yourself. You don't want to go with your wife or with your children or your friends. You just want to go by yourself.
It ups to um, the situation. I mean, when you're happy and you want to share with your some friends, you can go with your friends. Sometimes you cannot put up the situation, and you need to go alone, and you have to go alone. And it's better to be alone sometimes. I don't know if I understand or not.
No, no,
And
no. I understand totally what you mean. I knew someone. We're not in contact anymore, but I knew someone that her husband, every time he wanted to go to the store or something as simple as going to get ice cream, if his wife did not want to go, he would get upset and he would just say, "Well, I'm not going." And I always thought that was kind of
I guess
ridiculous.
they don't have good relationship. I guess they have
And
some problem, maybe some family problem, because they don't want to be with each other, and they suffer each other. If you
mhm,
love your wife and your children, you spend time for them, and if not, you always get to want to be alone. You want to be alone, and you want to spend your time without your family. Not for all the time. Sometimes it's needed to be alone. It's needed to go out with your friends, without your family. Sometimes not.
mhm.
In your case, in the case that you said, maybe they have some problems.
And I would say that they did have problems, but I think it's okay that if your husband or wife or your significant other, if they you know if you say you don't want to go someplace, then it should be okay. You should be able to stay home or whatever. And there are times when my husband goes places and I'm like, I don't feel like going because I just don't feel like going, and he's
Mhm.
fine with that. He goes and he does whatever, he comes back home, and that's it. But I find I remember years ago when Oprah, when she was still doing her show, she had a guest on who had written an article for the New York Times about how she
Mhm.
does not put her family first. She puts herself first. And when she was on the show, a lot of people, especially a lot of women, got upset with her because they said that she was being selfish and she was being selfish to her children. And her thing was, well, if I'm not happy, how can I make my family happy? How can I make my children happy?
You cannot make everybody happy. So because of culture shock, because of how can I say that? Uh, um, you cannot change their mind. You cannot change people mind, because if you want to make everybody happy, I guess we are illness. and we
Hmm.
are not okay because it is impossible to make everybody's happy. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I totally understand. So let me ask you this. Why do you think some people stay single their entire lives? Why do you think some people never get married?
You know, it's really such a stupid. It's you know, you cannot be alone for all the time. You have to have a couple. You have to get married. Um,
I mean, okay, but why do
in
you say you? Why do you say you have to get married? I mean, can't
because you need your opposite sex. You need your opposite sex. How can I say that? Maybe
can't
when
you
you are a
just date?
teenager, when you are young, maybe you if you want to be complete, if you want to uh, how can I say that? My English is not isn't
No, no,
okay,
no,
but
no,
I
no,
try
no,
to.
no, no. That's fine. I understand what you're saying, but let me ask you this one question. So, are you saying that in order to be truly happy, that you need to be with someone else somewhere along?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
But you have to find someone like like you. You have to find the man and the women that's you are in the same boat. You are in the
Hmm.
same. How can you are really the same. And if not, you have really you will get in trouble, and you'll have so many problems. And if you want to put yourself into the bad situation, it's better to not get married anymore. But if you find the girl and the boy that they are real, that you are they really the same, is really good. You can complete each other, and you can feel your partner very good, and it makes you happy. So if not, it's better to be single for all the time till you die.
Okay, so listen to what you just said. So, if you are dating someone, let's say you're dating all these people, and you just can't find your partner, you just can't find someone that you click with. So then it is okay to stay single, right?
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
In
so
good
you don't
situation,
so
it's
you
better.
don't necessarily need to have to get married. You don't, so that's not necessarily something that you necessarily need in order to be happy.
What about when you are alone and you need someone to tell something secretly? For
Well, I
example, you
mean,
cannot
okay,
share your
what if
secret.
you what do you have your friend? You have your best friend or whatever. I mean, and
You
you're
have it.
telling,
I know. I know you
okay,
have it. If you want to say about the opposite sex directly, so you need someone to share some secret. For example, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe you can have them as a couple for future. So you cannot share everything with your friend, with some close friend. Sometimes you need to share it with your girlfriend, boyfriend, and maybe your wife and husband. So
okay,
if you have a good and trustable husband and wife, why not? It's really good. But if not, it's better to be alone and single for all the time.
okay, so this is my next question then. Do you think that when people get married, that their spouse automatically becomes their best friend?
You mean after getting married, you can see your husband and wife as a best friend? You mean?
Yes, yes. Like there
Yeah,
are a
yeah,
lot of
yeah, yeah.
spouses. Okay, there are a lot of spouses that say my husband's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
best
Why not?
friend. Okay, all right.
If
Okay,
if you have similar and same purpose, and you looking for some goals that it's you and your partner were looking for ages, and you have it in your mind for ages. Yeah, you can solve your problems. You can have you can you can spend your time with your partner very good, and it's up to the situation and the partner that you are sharing your best moments. uh, I don't know how can I complete my sentences. So what about you? How do you think about it?
I mean, I've been married for
Are you married or
20.
single? Sorry to interrupt you.
I am married, and
Uh-huh.
I have
Are you satisfied with your marriage?
I am satisfied, but I will say that my husband is not my best friend. I have friends that I've known since I was
Childhood.
in elementary school, right? That I've
Mhm.
known for like, years and years, 30, 40 years. And, there are just some things that I don't know if I'm going to say this, just being a woman, but,
Mm.
I just think
Is your
that,
sorry to interrupt you, sorry to interrupt you. Is your friend boy or girl?
I'm sorry, is my friend what?
Boy or girl?
Girl.
Huh, girl.
Girl, and to me there are some things that you just tell girls and boys tell boys, and I
Mm.
know that there are some things, that that my husband, for his best friend, and his best friend recently passed away. Well, not recently, but about two years ago, he
How do you
passed
mean?
away.
Sorry, how do you see the best friend? What do you mean by the best friend?
I
What
mean,
what's
she's someone who I can literally just, like you say, you want to tell that secret to, that
Mhm.
I tell her. Now my
You
husband,
cannot share it with your husband?
well, I
You
mean,
mean?
there are just some things that, that you just, I think that there are some things that you don't necessarily have to tell your spouse. Okay, for instance,
Mm.
this is one question that I've had with a lot of people, and we go back and forth. If your best friend or your friend, whoever, male or female, told you something, and they said, "Please keep this to yourself, just between the two of us," and they say whatever they tell you, whatever they want to tell you, do you think you should go back and tell your spouse?
I don't have any answer for that because I
Now,
haven't been in this moment, this situation. I have never faced. So
but it's just a simple question. I say no. I say I'm not going to. If my friend, be it my best friend or whomever, another friend, told me something in confidence and told me,
mm,
just between the two of us, please do not tell anyone. I'm not going to go back home and tell my husband because that person's asked me to keep it just between the two of us. Just because I'm married to this person doesn't mean I'm going to tell somebody else's business. Be,
mm, uh,
so
if I were you, I would share it with my husband and with my wife because I wasn't I wasn't worried about the result of that because I'm talking about my wife and myself. We are real comfortable in my own life and we share everything. But because I know it is not my business, but if she has some problems, she will share it. If they want to get to know, she wants to get to know my opinion, and I will help my wife because we're friends. And maybe there in this society and in nowadays there are so many problems and secrets that you have to share it with your husband. Who's better than your wife and your husband? You hardly ever can find and the best friend that you can have it for all the time, but you can have your husband and your children for all the time till we die. So uh, I have so many experience. I have had so many friends belonging to my childhood, but they are not right now. because they've
Mm-hmm.
got married. They have so many problems in their lives, and we cannot get in touch with each other. So, but it comes true about my. It doesn't come true about my wife. I have my love for all the time. I can share it very easily. We can have a fun. We can cry. We can smile. We can.
No,
Uh,
and that I understand, but you didn't answer my question. If I told you, if we were friends and I told you something, and I said, "Is it okay if I just call you Riza? Is that okay?"
yes, yes,
Okay,
Reza.
okay, Reza. Okay, so if I said Reza, I was a coworker, and I said,
Yes,
Reza, I have this problem, blah, blah, blah. And
yeah,
please do not
yeah.
tell anyone. Please keep it just between the two of us. Are you saying that you would go back home and tell your wife?
No, 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 no. In this
Okay,
situation,
okay,
no. But
okay. That,
if I couldn't solve your problems, I wouldn't accept your request. And my answer was, sorry, I cannot help you. You can go to, for example, some doctors and other friends, your family. If I could help you, why not? It's
okay,
my pleasure to help you, and here listen to all the things that you are sharing, because I'm not a specialist, and don't want to play with your feeling. So maybe you want to share something actually and secretly with your own life, uh, with your own children. Maybe I cannot solve your problems. I cannot handle it. But if I could handle it, why not? It's my pleasure, and I will help you. And at the end, I didn't share with any partner, especially with my wife and maybe others in my life, because you are not the things that I want to play with. So I'm talking about your feeling,
right,
because
right.
everybody has so many problems with their life. Maybe it comes through about my life, but sometimes time will solve it. I'm talking about the time. After sometimes, so many problems will be okay. If we hurry in our some how can I say that? Oh, you know, I've cut my English classes for ages, and I don't have any English friend at all. Sometimes I have to go to and refer to YouTube for improve my language,
That's
and
okay. That's
I will
okay.
find some English friend. Are you living in the US?
Yes, yes.
Very good. Your accent shows it that you're. Yeah, very
Okay.
good.
Well,
My nephew is living in the US as well. My
okay,
nephew.
okay.
Okay.
Well, it goes back to about why do people stay single? Because my next question would be, in terms of making yourself happy first or what have you, why do people, get married, get divorced, get married, divorce, get married, divorce?
Getting divorced has different reason, but the most important thing is maybe I don't know. It refers to sex, or maybe the culture, maybe the uh, how can I say that? Different ideas, different culture, and that's it. Because of
Okay,
that,
well,
maybe what?
all right. I'm going to ask Shy Lady just joined, and she is a friend that I've known for over 30 years, and I would just like to ask her opinion um, of Shy Lady. If I told you something in confidence, and I said that it's just between the two of us, would you
Uh-huh.
go back and tell your husband?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Are you
Okay.
asking?
Absolutely not.
No, I'm
Shall
I'm no no Reza, I'm talking to Shy Lady.
Okay.
Okay, so you're saying that you probably wouldn't.
I know for a fact I wouldn't.
Okay, and why do you say that?
Well, there's a couple of things. The person that told me this obviously don't want me to share with anybody else, so why would I? And secondly, my spouse is not the type of person who even wants to listen. Even if I tried to, he's not that kind of a person. Like, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. It's none of my business. He's that kind of a person anyway. But I would respect out of respect for my own friend, because I wouldn't want my friend to tell something to that I told her privately about my husband, about myself, to her husband. It's
Right,
not right. And I
right,
respect my children as well. My kids are young adults, and I don't want to know everything that's going on in their life. It's none of my business. Just like the things that I've done in my life, it's none of their business. What I want them to know, I share. I don't want to know every detail about what's going on in their life. I really don't. So I think respect for yourself and for others is paramount in my opinion about relation in terms of relationships.
okay. So let me ask you this: if your spouse um, wanted you to go somewhere with him, and you were like, you just didn't feel like going for whatever reason, you just didn't want to go, he would be okay with going and doing whatever it was, and he would just come back, right?
Absolutely, it has happened recently. Last couple of months ago, he went on a trip out of town. I didn't want to go, and I said that. He said, "Okay, I'll tell everyone you said hello."
Okay. I mean, the reason why I say that is because I know people who, their spouses, if their spouses say no or whatever, it's like either they can't go or the person gets upset or what have you. And I just think that's just kind of crazy. I've always, wondered, and my husband and I, we always laugh at this. When we would go shopping, when we go grocery shopping, either I'll go or my husband will go, but we don't go together. We don't have to go together. And when I get back from the store, I always say, why do people have to bring their entire family shopping? Why do you have to have the whole family go shopping? Can one person just go? you know, but I don't know.
I've seen that as well in the stores, like six people. Why?
Yes, yes. And then they're blocking the aisle, but it's just like, can does everyone like have to go? Like, I mean, like I usually make my list, and I'll usually say, I'm going to this particular store. Do you want something? And he'll say, well, can you get this? And can you make sure you get this, whatever? And I'll pick it up. But we don't have to go. We don't have to, I see people in the store where they're literally discussing what ketchup to buy. It's like, okay, what ketchup do you usually buy? Get this and put it in the cart and move on. So, so Reza, let me ask you: do you shop as a family, as a habit, or do you shop by yourself, or your wife shops, or you shop? If you go to the grocery store or whatever.
I'm not sensitive about shopping. uh, all the women, I guess, they love shopping, but sometimes I do it alone, and sometimes I do it with my, friend, my wife. Um, I've never been.
Okay, I mean, because these things may sound silly, but these are things that, as I'm out and about, and I am a people watcher. When I'm out, sometimes, if I'm just sitting in my car, if I go to the store or wherever, once I park, before I get out of the car, sometimes I'll just like sit and just watch people. Or if I'm at the airport, before while I'm waiting on my plane, I am a people watcher. And I look and I see what people are doing, and it's just always fascinated me how when you see families or you see couples that they can't seem to let go of each other. Like, I'm just walking over here. Can you not stay here while I go over there? We don't have to be stuck together and, do everything together. There are some things that I want to do by myself, and I don't want you with me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But there are some people who think that I'm selfish. And I don't think that I am.
No, you are not selfish. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with your husband that all the time pull your leg. So for going out, you mean you have some problem with your husband because if you want to go alone and he will ask you why you're going out. It is needed to go out sometimes with your friends for shopping, for having fun, but
Exactly.
in the legal way. Why not? It's not problem. If you want to go and drink, maybe it has some problem. But if you want to go for shopping, it's not. It is not. It's not bad.
Okay, so are you saying that uh, a okay, let me put it like this. What do you think about if a guy went out with his friends and they went to a bar and they had a couple of drinks, or or a woman went out with her friends and they went to a bar or whatever and they had a couple of drinks? Do you see a problem with that?
Maybe sometimes, but
Why?
it refers to culture. In our culture, yeah, it's not okay, but maybe in yours, it's okay.
Okay, may I ask what where you're from?
I'm originally from Iran.
Okay. Okay, so it is a cultural thing. Okay.
Yeah, yes, culture
Okay.
shock.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So, shy lady, what do you think about that?
Um, about if I want to go to a club or a bar with my husband, be okay with it.
Yeah, if you're with if you were with your friends, yeah. I mean, say the two of us, we were out whatever, and then we stopped at a club or a bar, and we had a couple of drinks before we went home.
I don't think he would be opposed to me going out, with my friend, um, just to hang out. He knows that I'm not the type that would go dance with another man or whatever.
Right.
So he's okay with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I
He's
mean,
okay with that.
yeah, it's the same. The same here. And again, I know people where just going to a movie, with a friend, with friend of the same sex, her husband has a fit. It's like, why can't we see the movie together? And it's like, it's not about seeing it. I just want to hang out with my friends. Reza, no problem. Thank you so much for the conversation. You know, um, I just think that it's just kind of crazy that you have what I always call clingy relationships. And I've just never had that type of relationship. And I would never marry someone who kind of boxed me in like that.
I agree. My husband and I think it's good that he said I think it's cool. He said I'm gonna go on this golfing trip with some buddies, and we're gonna hang out for a few days. They're gonna go out of town. I'm cool with that. He said you should do the same thing. Keep your friendships healthy with your girlfriends. Go sometimes and go away and for a couple of days just to get away from each other for a little bit.
Hmm.
And we plan things together as well. But it's
Right.
it's it's important as a spouse, as a husband and wife, that you do maintain um, dates with each other. And
Right.
so, if you're in a position like that, then you shouldn't feel threatened if the other spouse wants to go hang out with a girlfriend or a guy friend. You shouldn't feel threatened by that, because if you're already planning events together, then you are sustaining that relationship to prosper.
Well, what's also interesting is, I think that hello 100 yard chemist. I think it's very interesting that people who don't stay in contact, like once they get married or get into a relationship and they don't stay in contact with their friends, to me they're the ones who end up kind of being lonely. Does that make sense? It's like, it's like you look around one day and you wonder what happened to your friend from high school, or the friend you used to work with, or whatever, because you've never maintained those relationships because you you just got so engrossed in your family. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you should keep your outside friends. So does that make sense with what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally agree. You should. It's healthy. It's healthy. I don't know. Some people, I've been out when I was younger. I would go out with friends, and if there was a person that brought their boyfriend around or whatever to the event, sometimes the girlfriend is jealous, or she'll constantly be clinging to the guy, and it's like nobody wants him. You should have left him
Right.
at home. Really, you should have left him
Right.
at home if
Right.
you feel threatened that somebody will, try to talk to him or something, or he will try to talk to someone. But I just think it's insecure of people as well who are clingy like that.
Well, another thing that I always that always amazed me is when um this may seem like really bad for me to say this, but this is what I am going to say. um when my husband and I were getting together, and I told him, I say, if you ever feel like you need to be with someone else, I'm not going to fight for you, because it's like either you're going to be with me and this is the choice that you made, or you want to be with someone else. And when I see that other women, and women to me do this really, really, they have this habit that if their husband either cheats on them, or leaves them for someone else, they blame the other person. Why are you not blaming your spouse? Why is your spouse not the one to blame? Because it takes two.
Yeah, I've never understood that, and I have I watch these shows on TV. And my husband would never ever sit down and watch them with me, but they're like Fatal Attractions. They're really true stories of people who got jealous or whatever. They were in love with a person, then all of a sudden they killed them or whatever. And my thing is that I always think about what my mother told me when I was starting to date. I don't want to be with anybody that doesn't want to be with me. And I just don't understand how a lot of these women, they'll want to attack the other woman, but they don't attack the
Right.
guy. I
Right.
don't for the life of me understand that. I just don't get it how they want to fight the other woman. They want to kill the other woman, but it like they say, the cliche, it takes two. He's just as guilty as her.
But it's always been women. Hey, Juju, it's always been women who always take the fall for everything. And I go back to Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, when they got together, and Brad Pitt made the choice to be with Angelina Jolie, but everybody called Angelina Jolie the home record. I'm like, how is it her fault? I mean, where does this guy, where's his responsibility? And that's one thing that I always told my husband before we got married. I said, I will not fight for you. I'm not going to be that person who's going to say, please come back home, and I'm going to stalk the other person. If you make the choice that you want to be with someone else, that's the choice that you have made, and I'm okay with that. I'm not chasing after anyone. And like your mom said, why do I want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with me? Why would I want to be in a relationship with someone who does not want to be with me? That person is going to be miserable. I'm not going to have the relationship that I want. So let it go.
Yeah, I totally agree. It always, I guess, people want to blame, the woman on everything. That I guess that Jezebel spirit or something. They always want to say that it's women that are the cause of the relationships going bad, the woman is the one, but they never. It seems like in society they never point to the man. It's
Why do
always the
you
woman.
why do you think that is?
Again, like I said, going back to the whole Jezebel thing. People talk about prostitution. They talk more about the prostitutes than the Johns.
Right. Right.
They don't even talk about the pimps as bad as they do the prostitutes.
You're
It's
right.
always the prostitutes. They're so horrible. They're just so bad. They're just so awful. But what about the pimps that set them up to go out there and sell their body? What about the Johns who are their customers? Some of them are married.
I'm
What
married.
about
Right.
them? But they
Right.
never criticize them. It's always the woman that they criticize.
We know it's almost, does it go back to because Eve is the one who ate the apple as opposed to
Yeah,
Adam?
he blamed her.
But
You made me do it.
right. So I don't know. I mean, it's like, I was watching one of those little short films, and the they had one about the dress code and how this principal kept getting on the girls for the dress code, and one girl was like, well, why are you always blaming the girls? What about the boys? What about what they're wearing? And and it's right, and it's true. It's like dress codes seem to be more about girls than boys. When you look at when back in the early 1900s and what have you, and you had swimsuits where it was ridiculous that a woman was basically dressed, she had her clothes on, put the little bonnet on her head to go swimming, where men, they just go in there, with their swim trunks on, and that's it. But I don't know.
Well, again, it's always the woman that's the downfall of society, and
So
I guess, and it's another thing too. Lately, I've seen online videos of women who are in New York City. I've read recently that the prostitution uh, situation is going up in New York City, and I saw this video, and
now, why
it's really
why
sad.
why is that?
They said that the police no longer cares. They feel like they have other things. They said if they want to sell their bodies, that's on them. They no longer care anymore. They said they have other things more important to do than to arrest prostitutes.
And do you think that's a good call?
No, it's not, because some of the people that were making some of the comments that live in New York City said that unfortunately a lot of these women are being forced to do this against their will. It's sex trafficking, and
Okay.
some of them are on drugs. Some of them, a lot of them are forced to do this, and I could believe that.
Hmm.
What woman in their right mind would want to willingly sell their body to a
Sell their body.
stranger
Yeah.
and run the risk of death, um, being beat up, left for dead? Who would really seriously want to be in that position? And it's not like it's a high paying position where they're making all this money. It's really unfortunate, and I do believe that a lot of the women that are involved in that are being sex trafficked. Sex trafficked.
Wow, I didn't know that New York City police officers or the police department, they were taking that stance.
And
So
they showed them on video, and a lot of these women, they had on. I couldn't believe that they were actually walking down the street in broad daylight, and some at night. But even in broad daylight, they're walking down the street with um, garters on and underwear and thongs and bras,
you,
going up to cars, walking in the middle of the street.
well, about 10 years ago, HBO had this special called I want to say it was called something like "Hose Up, Pimps Down," something like that, and it was filmed in New York, and they were showing this one particular area where a lot of prostitutes went to pick up men, whatever, and it was like literally when they left the house, like you said, they're walking out in just bra and underwear, and it just, it was like shocking to me, you know, um, and a lot of them, they said they can't go back in until they make a certain amount of money. And if they don't make that certain amount of money, they're afraid to go back home or where it is that they live. And you're right. What woman in her right mind would want to do that?
Yeah, it's sad. It's really really sad. I hate to see it. I hate to see it, and I don't. And I think the police there in New York are wrong for not wanting to try to protect these women because a lot of them are being held hostage. Literally,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they are being
And
trafficked. Hmm.
what's also sad is if people who are in the sex trafficking business, if they know that New York is turning their backs and a blind eye, that's just giving them more reason to do business in New York.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but I wanted to ask you before you came on, Riza and Reza and I were having a really good conversation, and I wanted to know, have you ever felt while raising a family that you always had to put them first and you were second?
Oh yes, definitely yes. Hmm.
Do you think it's wrong to not want to put your family first? Okay, let me put it like this. I'm probably phrasing that wrong. I have always said that my family was a part of my life,
Hmm.
but they are not my life. And when
Hmm.
I made that comment to a friend a couple of years ago, she looked at me like I was crazy and she told me that I was very selfish. And she says, your family should be your life. And I looked at her, I said, well, what about my life? So I guess I should put it like that. Do you think your family should be your life?
No, I don't think so. Because you have to be very careful. It depends on the person as well. You have to be very careful and try to have a life of your own. Because if you take on a lot of the stress of raising kids and dealing with a spouse, it could be very, very overwhelming. And if you don't consider your own mental health over those situations, you can definitely be in a bad way. Most definitely be in a bad way. But I don't when I say I put the needs of my family first, I'll say a situation like if they wanted to, there's certain movies that I like,
Hmm.
and a lot of times, if for the sake of the family, when my kids were younger, I would go ahead and go to the movies because I wanted to be, us to be as a family, even though I might not have wanted to see that particular movie, but I felt that instead of doing something that I really wanted to do, I went on ahead and did it for the sake of the family. A lot of times they would want to go bowling. I hate bowling,
I
but
love bowling. I was on a bowling team.
I hate bowling for the fact that I suck at it. I suck. I always get gutter balls.
But that's part of the fun.
Not for me. I want to win. I want to be the
Okay.
top dog. And if I'm the bottom dog, it's no fun for me. You
Okay.
know? And so they would want to go bowling, but like, oh God, here we go again. And I'll pedal back and say, okay, I'll go, knowing I hate it because if I could ever get good at it, then I would be all about it. But I'm very competitive, and when I keep seeing all those gutter balls go in the gutter, then I'm like, why am I doing this? And it's
Okay.
just, but anyway, that's just me. But bowling is a fun thing. I just don't. I wish I could have someone teach me the right way. Then I'll be more competitive. That'll make me happy. But
Well, when we get together, we are going to have to go bowling. I was on a bowling team as early as when I was in sixth grade.
mhm.
I was on bowling teams, and I remember when my dad took my sister and I to go bowling for the first time. I think I was like 5, and I always wanted to bowl, and when I was on the bowling team, I had my shoes and my own ball and everything. I loved bowling. But no, I mean, I understand. When my son was younger, the you remember the movie Cars? You remember that movie Cars that came out?
Oh yeah, definitely. Uh huh.
Okay. So that was the last movie that is the last movie that I saw in the theater. I have not been back to a theater since. And part of it was um, whenever we would take my son to the movies, he could not sit still. He was up and down, wanted to go to the bathroom, wanted to go get popcorn. He was just up and down, up and down. And I told my husband, I said, I'm not taking him to the movies anymore. You have to take him. And for years, my husband and my son would go to the movies. I'm like, bye, you know. But then it was because I just thought that movie theaters are kind of gross, so I just don't go. But I didn't feel bad about not going with them. I mean, let it be, son and dad having their day out, whatever, and that's what it turned into, and they were having fun, without mom, and I was cool with that. But again, like we were talking about, when you go to the grocery store, I just don't think that your family, that you all just have to be glued together every time you go somewhere. you know um and my family, again, they are a part of my life, but they're not my life, because one day your family's going to grow up. Your kids are going to be grown, and they're going to leave home. And what are you going to have if you put all of your energy and all your time into them, and you never had any outside activities, or any friends or whatever? What are you going to have? And that may sound selfish, but I mean, I say the same thing about the people who stay home. And sometimes you have parents who, oh, please, please, please don't leave me. I'm not going to have anything. Please stay with me. Take care of me. And meanwhile, your brothers and sisters, they're all getting married, or they're all going on with their life, and here you are, at home taking care of mom and dad. And then one day you wake up and mom and dad are gone, and you're this older person. What do you have? I'm not saying that you shouldn't take care of your parents, but you still have to have that life. You still have to have a life of your own.
Totally agree. Totally agree. You
You
do.
know, when before you came on, Reza and I were talking, and he said that he thought, because I said, well, what do you think about people who stay single? And he says, well, I think that people should, you know, um, that they need to get married, that they need that companion. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, I think that you can go through life and you can have companions, but you don't necessarily have to be married. You know, um, sometimes people say, yeah, but when you get older in life, whatever, and you're old, who are you going to be with?
It
Well,
could also be his culture as well,
yeah, yeah.
because I know he did say his culture was different.
He said that
Uh,
he was from
Iran.
Iran. Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
So he definitely could have a different perspective on that. I know that I've heard in that culture. I have family members that are Muslim. I'm assuming that probably also because that's a Muslim dominated country,
Country.
um, that they um, not enforce, but that's maybe the wrong word. They advocate that men should not be without a wife.
But I mean, but the wives are also chosen very, very young. Also,
Yeah, yeah, in some cases, yeah.
so
hmm
I was always one who said that I was never going to get married. I didn't get married until I was 35, and I guess part of that also came from how we grew up. My father always told my sister and I, don't get married until you've done some of the things that you want to do. If you want to travel, travel. If you want to do this, do all this. And then he also said, do not marry a man that's going to hold you back or keep you down, or will not allow you to do the things that you want to do. And and my sister and I, we both didn't. And I look at the when I look at my parents' marriage, my mother was traveling and doing this and doing that, and she left us at home. And then it got to the point where, as I got older, my mother was saying, "Well, I'm going here. Who wants to go?" And my father never wanted to go. My sister never wanted to go, so my mother and would go places, you know. But I just always thought that your spouse or your significant other or your family, your children, whatever, should not be the reason for you not having a life that you can enjoy. Because at times, you know, even if it's just going to the grocery store, you just want to go by yourself. You know, let me just go by myself, pick up the milk, and come back home. I don't need you to go with me.
I agree, because sometimes you just need to think. You just need to get away and think.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have another person with you constantly, you really can't think.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right. You know, so I don't know. I don't know, but I was actually watching one of my Chinese dramas over the weekend, and this was something that one of the families was going through a divorce, and then another friend was uh, got divorced and hanging out with this younger guy, and then this other girlfriend was dating somebody, and she found out that he was married. So it's about these three friends and everything, and it just made me think about this particular subject. You know, like who do you live for? You know, and I don't know. I don't know. Hello, Henry. Thank you for joining us. But that's it. That's all the time I'm at. I am at my hour, and this has been a good conversation. So thank you, Shy Lady, for adding, and Juju as always. Thank you, Henry. Thank you for coming in at the last moment. And that's all I got. I am Solid Blue Sister. My turn to talk, and always speak your truth. And have a wonderful day. Bye. Have a good day, everyone. See you later.